We'll be starting the newspaper reviews with The Nation. Major headline: Why North will vote Tinubu by Niger State Governor Bago. And Sari leaders' conviction victory in battle against illegal mining. No going back on free fuel distribution, says Dangote. Peter Obi visits Obasanjo Ladoja in Southwest Shuttle. Build on seed of reconciliation, Ibas tells Fubara lawmakers. What stories do we have? There's one here. Experts' consistent drop in inflation rate will stimulate investment.
Okay, so I have the major headline. They said, why not to vote Tinubu? That's the Niger State governor is saying this. He said this and explained why the North will vote for the president come 2027 general election. He said the president has lived to expectation by implementing his campaign promises. And he said he is ready to be the campaign manager for the president Tinubu because he has done a lot for the North and the country. He also said that as far as we are concerned, it is Asiwaju for 2027. There is no going back. And he said it is proper for the South to retain power till 2031 in the spirit of zoning, equity, and fairness. In recent times, he said the prominent northerners, including former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai and his Sokoto counterparts, that's Senator Aminu Tambuwal, said the North will not endorse the president for re-election. But he is saying that Nigerians will be shocked by the way the North will vote massively for the president. And he said northern governors are able to embark on people-oriented developmental projects in their state because they now receive more allocations from the Federation account. And he said, I have made myself the Director General of the campaign for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. Wow. And the headquarters of the campaign is here in Niger State.
Wow.
So,
that's interesting.
And he said that he will continue to support the president, my people and my state, and will also go to other states and make sure that they all campaign for the president Tinubu. The way he's going strong on
Gingering
this.
the thing.
So let's see how it goes.
I have from River State, the administrator Ibas yesterday admonished political gladiators in River State to build on the seeds of reconciliation that have been planted during the emergency rule. So as we know, we're seeing the final departure of the administrator that was put in because of the emergency rule that was placed on River State. And so he, as one of the activities towards the end of the state of emergency, they had an interdenominational Thanksgiving that was organized by the River State government, and this happened at the Ecumenical Center in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The administrator said that the state cannot afford another protracted political crisis. He urged politicians and other stakeholders to learn from the lessons of the period, sheath their swords, and embrace peace, reconciliation, and unity. You know, he gave a lot of advice, and he says, you know, that for this, he talked about how the 6 months has been, but he's happy to, you know, that sort of they've planted seeds of, you know, progress and unity, and he's asking that all those involved, the politicians and all stakeholders, please build on what we've already started in these 6 months to help reconcile everybody and heal, you know, River State. And he also urged the youth to avoid violence and channel their energy into building and sustaining peace. I think he leaves on Thursday, on when the governor would resume his seat.
I'm happy this was successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so recent attacks against Dangote petroleum refinery from some associations in the oil and gas industry were orchestrated to derail the planned free fuel distribution logistics initiative. The management of Dangote refinery has said this. They put out a statement last night. It's, however, foreclosed backtracking on the initiative, adding that the attacks lack genuine and patriotic concerns. And so part of what they said in the statement yesterday night was that the refinery said that the position of NUPENG and Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, that's that man, lacks legitimacy and has nothing to do with unionization as they have claimed. They also said that these are just threats and actions which were not really born out of anybody's interest, but personal interest, because they reacted to a press statement by Dapman, which was published in some newspapers over the weekend, that Dangote refinery noted that their claims contradicted certain established facts. And what are the facts? One of the facts is the fact that in January 2022, the NNPC reported that one of Dapman's members had supplied petroleum containing over 15% methanol. You know, yes, and this really damaged the engines of thousands of end users.
Whoa.
And no investigation was carried out. The people involved were not punished. Nothing was done. And then because of their personal interests now, they're trying to boycott this, what Dangote Refinery is trying to do in terms of the free deliveries. And they're also saying that what Nupeng is saying is incorrect, that the claim that price of petrol in Togo is lower than that in Nigeria is absolutely false.
Wow.
Yes. So they're saying that the Dangote refinery has positioned Nigeria as the primary source of affordable petrol feedstock for West Africa, despite the refinery importing over 60% of the crude oil it processes. So I'm happy that they're not backtracking on this, that regardless of anything going on.
Let me add as well, because I took the story as well, and it says Dapman, it's accusing Dapman of what they say, that they have like they are focused, they say they are disproportionately focused on the importation of refined products, even admitting to round tripping. So this is where they would, petrol that has been produced by Dangote refinery, and they would re-import that same fuel from Togo and then bring it to Nigeria and the markup, when you can just get straight from the refinery. These are the issues.
Yeah. Okay, so the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alake, said the conviction of the commander of the Ansaru terrorist group, Mahmoud Usman, to a 15-year jail term is a major victory in the war against illegal mining. On Thursday, Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja declared or delivered a verdict which remanded the accused in prison to face 31 other charges. Now, commending the judiciary for supporting the ministry's effort to crush illegal mining, the minister said the verdict had established that bandits engage in illegal mining to fund their operations. In a statement yesterday in Abuja by the Special Assistant on Media, Shegu Tomori, Dr. Aleke said, "It is gratifying for me that the judiciary is aligned with the ministry's objective of zero tolerance for illegal mining. Further tightening of the noose around illegalities in mining continues as a more drastic measure, and that will be announced shortly." So he went ahead to say that the ministry will monitor the proceedings of the remaining 31 cases of terrorism against the Ansaru commanders. He also said that regulators of the mining sector have a lot to learn from their cases, you know, to improve the capacity to counter illegal mining. We've always talked about the fact that people are, we have helicopters constantly in those areas, Zamfara and the rest, lifting our crude without any form of, you know, surveillance. Nobody's saying anything. We just sit here. There's a report I saw recently, I think it was YK that sent it in the group some time ago, where we are just sitting down and our golds are lifted from, we don't know who, we don't know who's in charge, and nobody's doing anything about it. So this is a good one. Congratulations. I just hope that they can continue to fish them all out and show them shege. We'll take the Punch. Major headline, Ibas defends 6-month tenure as opposition demands probe. Dangote deploys 1,000 trucks, Ipman rallies marketers. Crude earnings fall by 3.18 trillion amid output surge. Kanu seeks transfer from DSS to National Hospital. INEC, Catholic bishops clash over 2023 poll credibility. States pledge quality education as schools resume today. Lagos stops 6-story building construction after Punch report. And Ogun urges residents to relocate over flood threat. We'll take a story and do a short break. Who's ready to go?
Okay, so I'll take the stories where they said the states pledge quality education as schools resume today. They said generally primary and secondary schools across many states of the country will today reopen for the first term of 2025-2026 academic session, with state governments assuring parents and pupils of a smooth resumption and quality learning environment. They said as pupils return to classrooms, scenes are expected to differ across schools. Some children will meet newly renovated buildings, freshly supplied desks, and improved facilities. Others will return to dilapidated classrooms, bushy compounds, and scattered furniture. They said for many schools, lessons and revision will commence immediately. For others, the opening day will be devoted to cleaning and preparations before academic activities fully resume. So they brought out states like the Ondo State. They said the Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngbekele, said all arrangements had been concluded for resumptions. They said the heads of schools are aware, the teachers are aware, and all schools are set. They have carried out their pre-resumption meetings on Thursday and Friday, so they are ready to receive students. Then they also, Ekiti State Commissioner for Education, that's Dr. Olabimpe, he is saying that he has confirmed that both public and private schools will resume today. And then Ogun State, they said the Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, that's Professor Abayomi, reminded school administrators that government's free education policy remains in place and warned that no school administrator must charge any fees or send students away for not paying such fees. So there are for different states. Okay. Everybody's saying how they
All
present.
right, so we'll take a breather here. When we come back, the paper reviews continue. Stay with us. We're still reviewing The Punch. Welcome back.
Yes.
You ready?
So I have the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria the weekend criticized the conduct of the 2023 election, saying it has eroded the confidence of Nigerians in the nation's electoral process. But in a swift reaction, INEC rejected the verdict and described the bishop's position as ungodly.
Jesus.
Anyway, so based on the bishop's position, he has said, this is what he said, and this was at the Akwa Ibom, the 2025 interactive session of CBCN with lay faithful of the Calabar Ecclesiastical Province, and then the CBCN president and Archbishop of Owerri. He said that the country was sinking on many fronts, lamenting that the 2023 general elections further eroded citizens' confidence in our democracy. He said corruption is the root of Nigeria's crisis, describing it as moral rottenness spreading unchecked like a deadly cancer, accused leaders of neglecting governance in favor of personal ambition ahead of 2027. He says while the country is faced with serious existential threats, many politicians at the national and subnational level seem to be more preoccupied with the upcoming 2027 general elections and less concerned with fulfilling their original campaign promises.
Yeah.
And that's when he also went in and dragged the Electoral Commission and said that so far neither can be seen as non-partisan. That's the appointments to INEC. None can be seen as non-partisan or independent. And he's asking for the amendment to the Constitution to strengthen the independence of INEC and protect it from political manipulations. And INEC said, not today. Not
We're
today.
not going to have that.
We refuse it. This is ungodly.
We reject
All right.
it.
So the Lagos State government, through the Lagos State Safety Commission, has slammed a 6-story building under construction at number 28 Sakatinubu Street, Victoria Island, Lagos, for violation of safety standards and posing threats to lives and properties. This development comes 2 weeks after the Punch reported that residents in the said area cried out over the construction activities on the building. They said it's been causing damage to surrounding landed properties, vehicles, and posing threats to pedestrians. That even planks are falling from the buildings into other compounds, causing damages to their walls, their windows, ceilings, and cars. They say more importantly, there are genuine fears that falling planks and pebbles could harm innocent people on the premises and even lead to death. The residents said it is Save Our Soul message, which was also obtained by their correspondent. So in an exclusive message sent to their correspondent, they said the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Safety Commission, Mr. Lanre Mojola, said further investigations were conducted on the building and that noting that an abatement notice was served on them, but that they ignored it. So let's hope that something happens quickly before harm comes to anybody.
Yeah. Okay, Daily Sun, opposition parties regroup for 2027, major headline. Dangote refinery accuses Dapman of misleading Nigerians. Uzodinma presents book on APC's 10-year leadership, September 30. Race to recapitalization, 6 listed banks meet CBN's requirements. That's what we have in the Daily Sun. Who's ready to go?
Okay, so
NDLEA.
okay.
Okay, Go ahead.
Yes, I have NDLEA has arrested an Indian businessman, Gupta Ravi Kumar, alongside 3 Nigerian accomplices over a 3.9 billion tramadol shipment that was intercepted at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. They said that the consignment was disguised as multivitamins in 114 cartons that had arrived aboard the Ethiopian airline September 11. So while I think they say they got intelligence, so they already had their sights on that consignment, and now on September 11, when they were trying to clear it, the NDLEA swooped in on them, and of course, as we say, thank you NDLEA. And as usual, the report also cut across the operations across the operations across the country. There were drugs that were found, they called it skunk, especially concealed in crayfish, which, you know, they intercepted, and so many others across the country.
Okay, so 6 deposit money banks out of the 13 listed on the Nigerian exchange have so far met the stringent new capital thresholds set by the Central Bank of Nigeria. They include Access Bank, Zenith Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, Wema Bank, Jay's Bank, and Stanbic IBTC. The capital recapitalization drive, unveiled by the CBN in March 2024, is the most ambitious in nearly 2 decades. Under the new regime, commercial banks with international licenses are required to shore up their capital base to 500 billion naira, while those with national authorization must meet a 200 billion naira benchmark. Regional banks face a 50 billion floor, while non-interest banks with national and regional licenses are required to raise 20 billion and 10 billion respectively. We know that this deadline is set for March 2026, and the Access Bank said the recapitalization policy was necessary to strengthen Nigeria's banking sector, improve resilience against economic shocks, and provide lenders with sufficient capital buffers to finance large ticket transactions in critical sections such as infrastructure, energy, and manufacturing. But with the 2026 deadline looming, stakeholders expect a fresh wave of capital injections, right issues, private placements, and possible mergers as Nigerian banks race to meet the CBN's requirements.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think we have to go because of time, but let me just take the headlines for Vanguard. How attendants manipulate pump, extort petrol consumers nationwide, speak truth to power, Tinubu challenges faith leaders. Federal government predicts flooding in 11 states, advises evacuations. NDLEA arrests Indian, 3 Nigerians over 3.9 billion tramadol shipment. Diamond-rich Botswana appoints Nigerian Farouk Gumel as chairman of Sovereign Wealth Fund. And foreign policy, Nigeria remains non-aligned TUGA. Who has the diamond-rich Botswana? Oh, we don't have that. Okay. All right. That's all we can take on the newspaper reviews. Thank you so much, ladies. When we come back, we'll move on.
So someone sitting beside like a Ramotuna, she is dressed like this. It's like she's local, woman, you know, and the person that wears. So that's a mindset that I feel that we need to start talking about and changing. Some of our leaders have gotten to where they've gotten with this same mindset. They don't know any different. So it's important that we have these sort of conversations and reiterate it. There was a reason why Mariam, the late Mariam Babangida, was so adored. It was because she wore our outfits with so much pride. She was admired across the globe for the way that she carried our Nigerian outfits. And even because of her, many Nigerian women also started doing that. So at the top, we need them to have that sort of, realize that they, as you had mentioned, you know, that they can set an example. And we see more of our leaders dressing that in a certain way, well, most likely to follow suit. And the second part is, I don't like how in government, every time we want to change a policy, it comes from a place of let's punish these people.
Immediately.
Yes. You are a human being yourself, you're in Nigeria, you understand all the issues. Look at, do you know, apart from the outfit, what really bothers me is that you see some of these civil servants going to work, their shoes have gone bad completely because they have to walk long distances. This one pair of shoes that they've worn for many years, back and forth. Why are you not thinking about that? And maybe if you thought about that, then you think, how do we make transportation cheaper for these people? How do I make sure that my people can get to work, you know, maybe, you know, without having to work many hours? And probably by the time they get to work, they will look decent. So it's because we always look at policies from a place of let's punish these people.
Immediately.
We don't get anywhere. But when you look at it, how do we help each other? Then it makes you much more prepared to address the issues. Now, this does not mean that when you come to work in spaghetti strap, or you have these very long nails that for me I'll accept it. I think it's unprofessional. And a lot of us, you know, we live vicariously through this artists. We see how artists dress. That's their job. They are meant to look like that. The crazier, the more unlikely combination is what works for that industry. They are meant to entertain us. But when you're a professional, you're meant to be professional. And finally is the attitude, as I said, beyond dealing with their clothing, deal with their attitude at work. This thing you said, many times you go, groundnut season. Yes.
Everybody's eating groundnut.
In fact, they'll be upset. How dare you come and stop them from showing their groundnut because you want something? So that is what government should look at. Real proper attitude at work. Are you competent? Do you know your job?
We'll take a short break, darling. When we come back, we look more into government's role and how we can make a holistic change in the civil service. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So the Delta State government's new dress code for civil servants bans braided or dyed hair, artificial nails and bushy beards, and requires full corporate suits or decent gowns. Supporters say it will boost discipline, professionalism, and the public image of the civil service, just like dress rules in private companies. Critics argue it's costly for underpaid workers, infringes on personal freedom, and suppresses cultural expression. The debate centers on whether it's a necessary step to restore dignity in public service or an overreach into employees' personal choices. What are your thoughts on this? You can join the conversation and call us on 02016 352013 or 0902-416-3440, or tweet us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTVC. So they are saying now in Delta State that if you are working in civil service, have to have, my state, that's true, you have to have a dress code. You should appear in a certain way. It's either you're knotted up with your tie, or you have a proper work dress. As against what we see when you walk into civil service, where sometimes it seems like they just put on what they see in their wardrobe, and people are saying, some sites, this is good, other sites, how much are you paying them? Why are you stressing them, you know? So let's really talk about this. What are your thoughts? What did you think when you saw this pronouncement?
I think the right thing for every establishment, organization to have is a mode of dressing. It's a certain standard that guides, their mode of dressing. That's on one side. On the other side, people saying that how much do you pay us to be able to dress a certain way? You don't have to earn a lot of money to dress decently or to appear in a certain manner. It doesn't, it's the money you use and buy nonsense. That's the same money you use and buy nice shirts, well stashed. It doesn't have to be expensive, have your belt tucking properly, be formal. It's a work environment, okay? But where I have an issue with the government, because it seems like most times the government just wants to throw out policies, and I keep wondering, the team that they set up to put these these policies together, I said, do they actually do the work? Because sometimes I wonder, okay, so we understand where you're coming from, but waiting can concern you with someone braiding their hair or someone wearing artificial nails. Like that's now, you're now overstepping as far as I'm concerned. You want people to dress formally, to appear in a certain way. I don't see the reason why someone should go to work with bushy beards or carrying a yellow or purple or pink hair. Why? Do you understand? So I totally support where the government's concerns are regards that. But then overstepping into other things are now waiting happen. That's my thoughts.
Okay, so for me, lately, most of the news I've been hearing is all about the state governors always talking about personal things, things that I don't think they are important. I know they are important, but they are not so important that way. I'm expecting them to come and tell us, okay, this is the road we have fixed. We are fixing this road. This is the problem with it. This is what we are having, but we are going to, you know, do something about it. Or you are talking about maybe hospital, healthcare centers, or let's see productive things that will impact lives, not how your workers should look, how they should be, and all of that. Because number one, the environment, I don't know if the infrastructure in the building, that's in the office, is okay. You know, there's a way your office will look. You know that when you're coming, you need to dress up. You need to look very good and by yourself. But when you come to an office where it's not well painted, it's not nice, there's a kind of dressing that will match that type of that will match that type of environment, that type of yeah. So if you go to most state government offices, you realize that it's not well put together.
So it's not equipped for some kinds of dressing
at all.
Wow.
You find out that the table, one of the leg is broken, and then you now expect me to wear tie and come and sit down on one chair that is torn.
To tear the trouser.
You'll be seeing the foam of the chair out. Then you now want me to tie to wear this and then be saying good morning, good afternoon. No, the environment is not even encouraging me to dress very well.
Okay.
And you know, there's another thing again, payment. A lot of governors are not paying their staff. Most of them, even this new, as they've improved this minimum wage, it's not all the state governors are not paying. So please, they need to focus on the more important things than all of this. Every time one news or the other on dress code. Well, let me stop there.
Yeah, so for me, as much as I agree that professionalism is important, and part of being professional is also that the way you look, but that's not the only thing. For me, professionalism is beyond the way you look. It has a lot to do with your competence and your attitude towards work. And so that's the conversation when Amaka was saying that when they sat, you know, to have this meeting, was the stakeholders had this meeting, did they also put that into consideration? Because looking at the list of what they gave, once you hear it, face value, immediate value, thought is okay, it's good. They just want us to civil servants to
appear well,
to appear more professional, be decent. But then when you look at it one after the other, so they say no bushy beards, no beards, or was it bushy beards?
Bushy beards.
So no bushy beards, meaning okay, keep your beards,
but trim it,
make sure it looks neat, and that is fine. I think that is safe to say. But I don't understand no artificial nails. If you say no nails in such a way that is so long that it stops you from able to hold your pen and do your job, keep it at a decent length. I understand that. When you say no braids, hello, I think my braids
colored
look nice, but you know, say it in a way that looks decent. There's a corporate look that we're looking for. Now, the part now that offed me completely is saying that they should wear suits and they should not wear traditional outfits. You know, for me personally, I feel that we should be getting
more
a sort of, yes, you know, we need to represent our culture you know, at that level. Imposing Western idea of dressing and what on people, knowing how much it even costs to be able to wear a suit. What is wrong with somebody that wears a nice kaftan? What's wrong with that? A lady that in an African outfit wears a nice skirt and top. Why don't we look at that? Because when you say somebody to go and buy a suit, we know how much, even the cheap ones, we know that it's usually is quite an expense for anybody. Now, where I agree with you, where you now wear these suits, then you now come into the office, there's no AC in hot Nigeria. You do not put that into consideration. Okay, it's hot, there's no AC. Maybe they should dress in really nice shirts or their kaftan. Why are we limiting our own traditional identity to Fridays alone?
I don't understand.
What's you know, why are we thinking that way? Yes, I understand that we cannot wear ceremonial outfits every day at work because there's a way it would affect your professionalism, might affect your attitude towards work or just your competence. But there are outfits that we can wear, they are traditional to us, that we can wear to work. And it's high time, it's 2025. We need to develop an African image or a Nigerian image, and we should push out there. We have worn these suits enough. We have carried it on our heads too much. I mean, when you go to the Middle East, and you see them in their long kaftans.
That's what they wear in their banks and
everywhere. You see them everywhere, corporate, and
nice.
we admire it.
Yes,
It looks
we do.
nice. So let's look at that going forward. But professionalism is important. I agree as well. Some people, if you go to some of the civil, if you go to some of those offices, there's a way that some of them actually come to work, and you'll be wondering, did this person? Yes, this person. But another thing is, are we paying them enough
to be able
to also dress
the way
well?
we want them to.
These are people that by the time the salary comes, you're paying this, paying that. There's hardly anything left, you know, for a decent outfit. So this is also, you know, this is also on the government. Why are people turning out looking like this? Is there something that we need to do as well? So when you sit and have a meeting, it's not only about making it punitive for the people. It's also talking about your own responsibility, what you are meant to have done, you know, to make this
looking
possible.
at it holistically.
Yeah.
Well done, ladies. We'll be taking a short break now. When we come back, we'll dissect the matter further. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're still having the conversation about Delta State's new pronouncement on dressing, Delta State government. And I want to read a few things before I make a comment and then ask a question. They said the directive also provides updated dress code standards. Senior officers are expected to wear full corporate suits, while junior officers must dress in trousers with shirts and ties. Traditional attire is permitted only on Fridays, you mentioned that, or for special events. Then for female public servants, acceptable clothing includes trouser suits, skirts, suits, or corporate gowns that fall below the knee and have sleeves. So sleeveless outfits, spaghetti straps, revealing clothing, and any dress that exposes cleavage are strictly banned. So I like how the conversation has gone so far. We have looked at what is the government of the state doing to ensure that, you know, the right dressing is being supported in such a way that the environment would give you the morale
dress like that.
to dress in that way. But I know that, you know, when we finished school now, our first jobs, when we got our job, even before we received our pay, some of us borrowed money to enter market. If you cannot go to the high class market, you go to the bend down selects. You find those dresses, you find those jackets, you know, because you know that you are appearing in a place and you have to look professional. So we don't see that when it comes to public service. And I think that's where the government is looking at. So let's pack what the government is supposed to do first of all in terms of pay, welfare, and all of that to boost that. But the attitude of I am going to work, I have to appear a certain way, we don't see that as such when it comes to public servants. And so government is trying to say now, we have to appear professional when we are coming here. Is there anything wrong in that?
So there's no two ways about it. In as much as we are saying they should pack the government, whatever, they don't pay well. So if you don't pay well, there's a way that your workers will look. You understand? And again, sometimes body structure, there is different. Honestly, it's totally different. I've been to a law firm where I see where they dress. You know, they are forced, for a law firm, you're supposed to wear your suit and everything. And then you see this guy with a big pot belly, you know, he'll try to talk in.
He's on Zoro.
He's on Zoro. So the belt side, you know, there's no how, the zip is not zipping. And then you now come and tell that person to wear suit and come. Of course. And our traditional wears, they look very nice.
Yes,
even in the north, you go and tell them to wear suit and everything.
Go there.
Man, they won't wear suits. They will wear their kaftan. Now they're even being innovative with the kaftan, doing plenty designs, you know, the slim fit one, then the ones that fit their structure and everything. They wear babariga and come to work and everything. I think it's time we should start embracing our culture.
I agree totally with that.
So I just.
But let me take this call and then I come to you. We have Victory from Delta State. Good morning, Victory. Tell us what's going on in your state.
Good morning, Nabi. Good morning to everyone in the studio.
Good morning.
I think everyone has made a very strong point on this issue.
Okay.
And then, from what I will just see, even the federal parastatal, the federal civil service structure has not complained, despite the minimum wage being paid by the federal structure, not to talk of Delta State, that has not even met up to his own responsibility. Now, giving a kind of dress code initiative. Now, I think Mariam made a very strong point. Let's take this woman as a case study. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that woman in shoes? She has always been in the African attire.
Yes.
You can never see her in any English suit. All through her position as World Bank, including the current position, she's always been African attire to showcase the African culture to the entire world. And she has made a strong point. Check the Middle East. You can never see them in any other attire apart from what they put on. So why would Delta State come with this strong policy when you don't even pay your workers very well? And the offices are all tattered. Go check the judiciary. It's a complete mess compared to that of Lagos State. Delta State judiciary is a complete mess.
Wow.
Talkless of now coming to tell people to put on a suit in an office that is not organized, in an office that is not well furnished.
The suit is for the senior officers. The others are...
Let them look inwardly and look at the infrastructure, the health sector, the road construction, and the rest. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Victory. I love that.
So let's not take away the fact that there are certain outfits that should not be worn
in the workplace.
True. Let's not. Let's try to give grace and understand where they are coming from. I get where their mind is at, right? So the problem with we Nigerians is that we know how to overdo. They'll give you 1 inch, you take one. I don't understand.
Take a mile.
You take a mile. There are certain things that you cannot and should not wear in a work environment. That is the truth. But having said that, see, there's a mindset shift that needs to be done within the public sector.
Okay, we agree.
There's a total overhaul. So, because if your mindset does not change, even the senior workers, they are saying, wear suits. They've been in that ministry for how many years? They've not worn suits. Then they wake up one day, see in old age, they want to start eating with their left hand. So, you're not training these people. I went to a ministry sometime last week, and the person, the first point of contact, the receptionist that I met was busy eating and talking to me.
Ew.
Who does that? She opened her cooler. She just chop the food. They tell me, I'm wondering, like, wow, this is the face of an organization. Like, as in, do you understand? A public place. Like, why? And other people were seated there, and it was normal. Then they were busy, first of all, gisting, doing their sign. And they opened the register, sign. Like, I'm wondering, like, so there needs to be an overhaul. Is it the person that will now wear suit and sit down there and be doing that nonsense? Like, I don't even understand. So there should be a total overhaul. But like I said, I understand where the government is coming from. Okay. But they're overdoing it. Because why are you telling people not to braid their hair? What's your business? People braiding their hair. Okay, no, there's recent braid. Okay, braided or tinted hair, colored hair.
So that's for those who dye
the hair and then to braid it. But I just think that they're overstepping in every other thing, like the nails and stuff. They should just, and then before you even pull out a policy, there are certain things you should need to check put in place and say, okay, do we have ACs for this in the senior staff offices?
For all staff?
No, I'm just trying to say, like, if they say that they do not tell the junior ones to wear suit, they should just wear shirt and tie. At least their fan be blowing them. At least they can put fan in their offices. Then they'll put ACs the senior ones so that, all their life they've not worn suit, so they will not faint. So you need to check certain things and put it in place.
Yeah, but I think there are ACs in the senior offices. I think there are ACs there. Okay. We have Apostle from Abia State. Good morning, Apostle.
Well, so that all their life they've not worn suit, so they will not.
Apostle, are you there?
I think there is.
Please, you have to listen to us and talk to us. Leave the TV so we can hear you.
Yeah, good morning, ladies in the studio.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, ladies. Good morning, ladies in the studio. I hope you are hearing me.
Yes, we're hearing you. Just listen to us and turn down your TV.
I'll go ahead. How about yes?
Are you there, Apostle? Okay. So, before I come to Mariam, you raised a very important, point about our traditional outfit, right? And I want us to really dwell on that because we are in a place as a nation where we must become intentional about how we project to the outside world. Everybody is watching. You also rightly mentioned, for every time I was in Dubai and I walked into the banks or even their immigration, I see all of them in their local and it looks so beautiful. And I keep asking, I've never seen them in the suit and the tie. And they're proud of their culture. So, and we know that our traditional outfits are very easy for us to get. Even the people that are gathering money to go and be buying Akube suits and everything, they can buy a couple of materials and sew neatly and then wear and look good. So how do we begin to tell our people that let's move away from this form of colonialism. And I know that many people will come for me, oh, you are wearing wig, but today is not wig day, right? Let's focus on what we're talking about. Let's focus on what we're talking about. How do we make people understand that the state governments, the federal governments are the first representative of government to the people? So let's leave the corporate private businesses first. Because with the private businesses, okay, it's your private business, you want to run it the way you're running it. But you see, when you come to the state government, you come to the federal government, you should see a representation of Africanness in how they conduct themselves. Yeah. So help me.
Yes, so, you know, the thing about us here in Nigeria...
Sorry, honey, let me hold you. There's George on the line, and then I'll come to
honey.
you.
Hello.
George, are you there? Good morning.
Yes, I am. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I want to appreciate you guys for your view. The program is quite educative, and it helps to inform people, especially when it comes to things that are happening in our society. So, referring to the topic of discussion this morning, in private sector, there is what we call wardrobe allowance. If the state government of Delta feels they need to upscale the dress code of their staff, they should provide wardrobe allowance for people. If not, they have the right to tell them what not to wear, but they don't have the right to tell them what to wear. You just have to be there to point at things you feel that is inappropriate. But when it comes to how you dress, I think you have to start it from day one, from the day of appointment or employment. You state it so that whoever that is coming in would agree to that term, not you telling someone to dress this way when you are not paying for allowances. You have to provide wardrobe allowances so that they can meet up to that standard. So many people are facing a lot of things, even to fit. You understand? So telling them what to wear, I don't think is right. But you can tell them what not to wear. But don't tell them what to wear. That's my own view. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so, you know, in response to your question earlier, I think first of all, we need to look at the mindsets in our country. And the mindsets we have is that the more educated you are, the more money you have made, then you feel that to show that is to now look more Western.
Okay.
So we tend to look down on our own traditional way of dressing. So that is why you find people, when they are able to wear their suits, so someone sitting beside like a Ramotuna, she is dressed like this, she's local, woman, you know, and the person that wears, so that's a mindset that I feel that we need to start talking about and changing. Some of our leaders have gotten to where they've gotten with this same mindset. They don't know any different. So it's important that we have these sort of conversations and reiterate it. There was a reason why Mariam, the late Mariam Babangida, was so adored. It was because she wore our outfits with so much pride. She was admired across the globe for the way that she carried our Nigerian outfits. And even because of her, many Nigerian women also started doing that. So at the top, we need them to have that sort of, realize that they, as you had mentioned, you know, that they can set an example. And we see more of our leaders dressing that in a certain way, well, most likely to follow suit. And the second part is, I don't like how in government, every time we want to change a policy, it comes from a place of let's punish these people.
Immediately.
Yes. You are a human being yourself, you're in Nigeria, you understand all the issues. Look at, do you know, apart from the outfit, what really bothers me is that you see some of these civil servants going to work, their shoes have gone bad completely because they have to walk long distances. This one pair of shoes that they've worn for many years, back and forth. Why are you not thinking about that? And maybe if you thought about that, then you think, how do we make transportation cheaper for these people? How do I make sure that my people can get to work, you know, maybe, you know, without having to work many hours? And probably by the time they get to work, they'll look decent. So it's because we always look at policies from a place of let's punish these people. Immediately. We don't get anywhere. But when you look at it, how do we help each other? Then it makes you much more prepared to address the issues. Now, this does not mean that when you come to work in spaghetti strap, or you have these very long nails that, for me, I'll accept it. I think it's unprofessional. And a lot of us, you know, we live vicariously through this artists. We see how artists dress. That's their job. They are meant
They're
to look like that.
entertainers.
The crazier, the more unlikely combination is what works for that industry. They are meant to entertain us. But when you're a professional, you're meant to be professional. And finally is the attitude, as I said, beyond dealing with their clothing, deal with their attitude at work. This thing you said, many times you go, groundnut season.
Yes. Everybody's eating
They are
groundnut
looking,
in
in
the
fact, they'll
office.
be upset. How dare you come and stop them from chewing their groundnut because you want something? So
Yeah.
that is what government should look at. Real proper attitude at work.
Yeah.
Are you competent? Do you know your job?
We'll take a short break, darling. When we come back, we look more into government's role and how we can make a holistic change in the civil service. Stay with us. Welcome back. So we're still having this conversation about the Delta State government's pronouncements on dress code for its workers. And I've always believed that for us to have a systemic change, we have to overhaul everything holistic. We have to look at all sides. And that's what we've been trying to do on the show, where we're looking at the people's side and also looking at government side. And this is a time for us to begin to advise the government on how to do this better. So we believe, we have all agreed here, that there should be a professional way of appearing when you're going to work. Whether it's public sector, it's private sector, there should be a form of dress code. We also believe that all those extra things that we do that are not necessary. You're working in an office and your nails are as long as, we are struggling to see how you can even hold your pen or type on the computers. Those should stop. All those multicolored hairstyles, they're for entertainers, basically, not for people doing professional work. So we've talked about all of this. But now we're looking into government's role on how to make this work for its citizens and also make it easy for them to navigate. And one of the things we had rightly mentioned here is the fact that many of the offices do not even have staff bus to take them. You wear your shirt, suit, tie, and you jump bus to bus, and you are sweating.
Okada.
You are jumping Okada to get to work, you are sweating. If we have a situation where the government says, okay, because we want you to appear a certain way, we're going to make some things easy for you. A staff bus dedicated to picking people and dropping them. That's one that government should look into. We also talked about the fact that, they can begin to give wardrobe allowances like they do in private sector, where you have medical allowance, there's wardrobe allowance and all of that. The government can also do that to ease people. So I'm not thinking of my 70,000 minimum wage. That's where I want to go and buy shirt and suit from. How much am I going to use to pay school fees for my children? How do we eat? How do we pay transportation till the end of another month to receive another month? So I want a few more, ideas on how government can do this better, so that by the time they're making all of these pronouncements, that they have put some things in place that would make it easy for their citizens. Amaka?
Okay, yes. So let me start with...
Sorry, honey. Okay. Before I come to you, we have a caller from Delta State. Good morning. Are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning, Mercy.
Good morning. Yes, good morning. I'm Mercy speaking from Delta State.
You're welcome.
From Delta State.
I'm a Delta State judiciary staff, to be precise.
I didn't get that.
Judicial.
The office I work, till tomorrow, I've never seen lights.
You've never seen lights?
I've
Wow.
never seen lights there. The seats there are not even good. But I can imagine when someone will be imposing some kind of dress code. We've been on suit and black, whatever. We've been strictly, we dress strictly, we understand. But yet we don't enjoy it. One cannot be comfortable wearing suit and be hungry at the same time.
Such an office.
It's not possible. And the issue of spaghetti or whatever, I can vouch that I've not seen people wearing just spaghetti. I see them on suits too. I don't just understand. If the government can think about paying higher, the people will think about wearing what they want. Or is this not part of increasing people's rights? Talking about fingernails or hairdo. For me, I don't advise hair tinting. For a civil servant, you shouldn't think about that. Shouldn't think about that. It's either you're going with your gray hair if you have gray hair, or you're going with your black hair, tinting your hair to red or whatever. It's not advisable. Even as a young lady, if I have my sisters doing that, I'll caution them, because I don't even do it. But the government should think about our welfare too, before thinking of making us look like slaves. And
Think of your welfare.
to me, I prefer someone saying, wear your cultural wealth. We can sew it to the test of the English wear. It's still okay for us.
Okay.
They shouldn't make us feel like we're just there. But I thank God for the improvement, because me, I never voted for the government. People should learn from this.
Thank you. Thank you, Mercy.
Thank you so much, Mercy. Yes. So, when you're talking about what the government can do, so I feel, first off, they need to start solving their immediate issue, which is this 70 naira minimum wage, 70,000 naira minimum wage. Is it for people to work from 9 to 12 noon? Or is it, now let me land now. I'm coming. I'm really coming. Look, this is serious, so honestly speaking. You know, we take this for granted, but you know, it's easy to jump at government. I always say everything starts from you, from individual people to for government. Government has a role to play, but let's bring it home. So, or is this 70,000 naira minimum wage supposed to be for you to work from 8 to 4 or 8 to 5? I don't know what the work hours are, right? But I'm very sure that the work hours does not end by 12. I have friends that work in the public sector, and I know what I'm talking about. And it doesn't make sense that you're being paid with taxpayers' money to be available to people. And you're not available, and you clock out at 12, 11, and then you go to your personal businesses. Like you choose a hustle. Is that you want to be in the public sector or you want to be in the private sector? But if you're being paid and you're committed to do a job, to serve people, to be present, that files don't stay on the table forever, so that you don't frustrate people, then sit down and do that job. Let's be realistic. So government has a role to play by ensuring that there's a system that you clock in, you clock out, and that you actually do the job. Let's start from there. Because let me tell you something. If the ministry starts, or public sector starts being more productive, more revenues will come in. When people start doing their job, then we can now start talking about, is this government meeting up or not meeting up? If you're not doing your job, and something that's supposed to be done in 1 month, you push it to 2 years, what do you expect? How would the revenues come in? The system cannot work. And it is not government. It is people in the public sector, individuals, people that you know. So, we can blame government, but also government needs to ensure that certain things are done properly.
You know, this scholar that called, he mentioned that she's in the judiciary, and they don't have lights. So how do you expect somebody to stay till 5 p.m. without lights?
Okay, so your initial question is, what can government do? So first of all, for me is, there's a cultural pride I see in the North that I feel that every other state can go and borrow a leaf from. They dress proudly in their attire, and they still show up to work looking neat, looking decent, and looking professional. In fact, if you come in your Zanzoro, if you come in your tucked-in shirts, you will feel so out of place, you know. And
I was told we have a caller. I'll come back to you, Mariam. Yakub is on the line. Good morning, Yakub.
Yeah, good morning, Obi.
Good morning.
And good morning, everyone in the studio.
Good morning.
For me, listening to the last caller, that she called from the states in questions, and then I heard her say that for the past some weeks now, there's no light in the office that she's working. And then the government of Delta State now instructs the civil servant to put on the suit. You can see that it interjects each other. And then I don't know why they mentioned the suit self. You guys have already said it. What happened to our local attire? What happened? You are trying to control something, and then you are trying to boost other country economics. If you say that, okay, we have put on the local attire, I think the economy of that state will go up. And then the people that learning how to sew, they will also get money from there. But you have not mentioned the suit. And then let me even add this. Since Ashwat Bola Ahmed Tinubu come into place, into power, the revenue of all our states in this country have gone up. What is the minimum wage that...
Oh, Yakub, are you there?
Okay, still. His voice is the network.
I think it's network.
So I was saying next. So for me, we can see that in Nigeria it's possible. It's happening. So please, the rest of the states should look to that. And then secondly, reforms, as I had mentioned earlier, should really be about motivating the workforce, not about punishing them. And that's why I would say, if you were looking at it like that, you would first think about the fan, the AC in the office, knowing that this is a hot climate that we have here. How would our workers come to work? How would they be able to sit in the offices in the attires that you have just mentioned? If you think about that, if you think about staff bosses, getting them to the office. But there's also something that you mentioned, that they clock out early to do their side hustles. So that is when government too should start looking. This 75,000 we're looking at, doesn't mean anything. The reason it's happening is that there are people in there, senior officials, who have decided to look the other way because they know that the amount of money that is being paid them will take them nowhere. So they are like, Auntie, find something to help yourself. Oga, look for something to shook. That is even legitimate, you know, legal. Let's put it. How about those who have now? How about the corruption
that what happens
in the civil service? Because what we're paying is not enough. So they found different ways. So that's why they'll keep your file for months and months until you do something. Do you understand? So if you want to see that these reforms are properly carried out, then let's start thinking about how to motivate workers and instead of punishing them. So those are the two things I feel government can do.
Okay, so but you know that, before I come to you, know that though the punishment for this one is very light, they say they will send you home, go home and change and come back.
The transport money to send you home.
I don't know.
They send you home how many times?
I don't know, but you were going to say something.
Yeah, so someone said that is a distraction from the Delta State.
Oh, my darling. Let's take another commercial break. Okay. Yes, when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. Welcome back. Ravatu, you're ready?
Okay, so like I earlier said, someone said that is a distraction from the Delta State governor. And me, I have advice or a suggestion to the Delta State government. They should make sure that they get an in-house designer or a tailor that will come at it, because this suit that he wants, you will see different sizes, different types of suit. In fact, the colors that they will use to match that, you will see red and green. You will see different colors. You know, they will match different colors. So you should make sure that he gets a professional designer that will help them. You know, help them, advise them on it, so that suit that he's talking about. Because if not, that smartness is looking for. You see different ideas of smartness. You see type that he has never seen before. So I think that's the first advice I would say. And again, yes, he should please try as much as possible to concentrate on the more important things for the state.
Because I'm sorry to add to what she said, as they were reeling out point by point everything that they wanted, they should have just said grey or black studio. They should have been specific. Yes, I agree.
We see
I totally agree with you.
Different colors.
Wow. Yeah, can we take? Because I have someone here. Esther sends a rant. She says, "Now hear me. I understand the need for modesty, especially in public-facing serving environment, but I find it preposterous to ban braids and dyed hair. Why ban artificial nails and lashes? If you want to make it short, I can understand some people. Some people bite their nails, so nail fixing is actually a deterrent." And she says, how on earth is wearing native a no in a Nigerian business? How many government offices can boast of a ceiling fan? Talk more of AC. Even if they are available, how many pay for electricity? And also, I find it annoying that Nigerians are not allowed a bit of self-expression, and that is being clipped by rules. From schools to places of worship to work, we need to do better. Rant over.
So we have a call on the line. Tino Ade from Ibejuleki. Tino, are you there? Oh, sorry. Wow. I think we've pretty much covered this topic.
Messages?
Do we have messages? Let's take a few more messages so we can wrap this up. I'm trying to, I got some here, but network has gone.
Okay, so Moses Ade says no civil servant should earn less than 150K monthly. And then there's another one. Government needs to have a target, set a KPI. They must meet monthly, quarterly, yearly, like a damn business.
Yeah.
That's
it.
Someone said, I hate suit. I only wear it for job interviews and maybe a court wedding. And then, that's all. And then somebody was even talking. Yeah, somebody even said something like, "I just like to wear my jeans and shirt." You know, sometimes, okay, if they are not comfortable in what they wear, how do they become productive?
Jeans is not a professional.
No, it's not. It's not for the workplace.
But what if you're talking?
No, it's not.
It's not. Don Yax TV says, all that Mongo pack coat, way full market.
I like that.
Business don't come. Mount Rushmore says, I attended a university where we followed a strict dress code and we did not die. So we've practically covered everything. There's nothing wrong in having a proper dress code for the workplace, but you also need to make the workplace conducive for that dress code. You also need to support your workers in such a way that you don't even need to say a lot. They will by themselves want to appear a certain way because the environment is inspiring. And in this pronouncement, our government needs to do a lot more so that when they now put the punishment that comes when you disobey, you can see that they have tried. They provided the buses, staff buses for the transport system is working. There's a welfare allowance. There's AC. The electricity is paid for. There's fan in some offices. I'm not saying all of them would have AC. So that when they now stand and say, okay, if you don't dress this way, go back home. We cannot judge them on that. So government actually needs to do a lot, and the people too. Competence and attitude to work, government needs to check that. And I like that last comment on KPIs. Yes. They do anyhow because they really do not have KPIs. Government has to look into that. That's all we can take on this particular topic. When we come back, we move into another topic. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Reports from South Africa allege that some Nigerian women are being forced to give birth on hospital floors after being denied proper care. A situation linked to rising xenophobia and groups like Operation Dudula. Some says it's a grave human rights violation and a disgrace to South Africa's democratic image, stressing that emergency health care should be available to all regardless of nationality. Defenders argue public hospitals are overstretched and must prioritize citizens, saying undocumented migrants should regularize their status or seek care at home. The controversy highlights a clash between protecting limited resources and upholding basic human rights. What are your thoughts on this? You can join the conversation and call us on 02016 352013 or 09024 163440 or tweet us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTVC. So I saw a viral video, I think that was last week, and I also took it in the newspapers on Saturday. So in that viral video that I saw, this particular young man was calling out people who were seated in the hospital. If you're not from South Africa, stand up and leave this place. Yes, and then we had reports, in the papers that they are now not giving treatments to people who are not South Africans. So it's not just Nigerians this time around. Even, sure? Yes, even according to the papers, even Botswanans, Zambians were all sent out of the hospital. And then in that report also, we heard that some Nigerian women were allowed to give birth on the floor. Some were sent back home, without any proper care. And the question is, what is happening in South Africa again? We've had issues with South Africa over and over and how they have treated Nigerians and other African nationals in their country, and this is happening again. They are using the healthcare, their healthcare system to also punish foreigners in their land. What is happening? What are your thoughts?
Okay, so what the key thing that I noticed from this write-up is undocumented migrants.
Migrants, okay.
Right?
Okay.
Anywhere in the world, if you go to America, even the UK, NHS. If you're not documented and you don't have an NHS number, nobody will attend to you, right? And if you're in a country and you're not documented, please buy insurance. There's a reason why before you go, when you want to get your visa to certain countries, before you go anywhere, they make sure that you have insurance that can cover for your medicals if something happens or something goes wrong. Because let's be realistic, this is their taxpayers' money that is meant for their people. Okay? And if they're saying that they're overstretched and you're coming to their country and you can see what's going on, and you can see that, you can foresee that, okay, I want to stay here. It's taking a while for my documents to get processed, and I know that I'm going to need, anything can happen. I might need medical care. I have children, or I'm pregnant. Why will you be pregnant for 9 months and you don't get insurance, knowing that you don't, your
papers are not,
it's not like the only place that allows things like that is like Canada, where even though you don't have your papers, they now have a system of midwifery and everything where you can register, although some other people are paying for that. It's coming at a cost to, you know, different communities and contributions, and there's how they do it to fund that system, right, where you can get care. But not every country is like that. So if you know your situation and you know the country you're going to, you should get insurance for yourself. If you have insurance, you'll be attended to. It's simple as that.
Okay, that's another angle.
Okay. So we're discussing this because we heard that women are being forced to have their babies on the floor, cold, bare floor. I mean, childbirth is sacred. You know
It
that.
is.
And anywhere in the world, for me, this is just cruelty at its highest. There's nowhere in the world, with whatever economic, harsh, whatever that is happening, that you have a woman in labor and there's an opportunity for her to be able to use the bed, and you ask that child to lie, that woman to lie on the cold floor and give birth. It has nothing to do with insurance or not. There's so many countries that we know of. Nigerians get there, an emergency happens, they quickly attend to you because humanity first, for heaven's sakes. And what is worse for me in this case is that we're talking about another African country doing this to other Africans. Where is this conversation of African unity going to lead us if we have things like this? And South Africa is known so much for this sort of behavior. They have killed people, they have found ways, you know, just attacking other Africans, and now see where they are. You know, I've been reading this story and I've been waiting to hear what their government says. Are these government officials standing and asking other people to be treated this way? Or is it that some South Africans have taken it upon themselves to deal with other Africans? Because we've seen that, and we've seen how the South African government would separate itself from that behavior. But I haven't heard anything from the South African government.
Which they have done, actually. So this Dudula operations, they are saying is a group of people who gathered by themselves to do this, that it has nothing to do with the South African government.
So the South African government also understands that it's a cruelty. It has nothing to do with...
But we're waiting to see what they do to the Dudula operations guys to, you know, really show that we did not send you to do this. Go ahead.
So for me, it was important to put that out, because I hear Amaka about make sure you're documented, but there are some situations, emergency situations, having a child, you know, having a child, a woman in labor, and you put her through that when she could be giving birth. You know, she can have that baby and you hold her down for her proper documentation. She can have that baby and find a way to properly deport her if you think she does not have the right papers. But you put her through that cruelty. How is it that we act like this? I remember, I think a few months ago when NBA had their annual meetings that they do, this man, Julius Malema, we know him as a strong opposition leader in South Africa. He came to Nigeria. One of the things that he said is that xenophobia is a betrayal of African unity, right? And he's such a respected voice in his country. And I'm wondering how he is so different in his understanding of why it is important to act a certain way as Africans towards other Africans. And his people don't seem to get it. One of the things he said was that xenophobia is failure on government part and also poverty. So yes, they're going through issues, but the people that they seem to attack, because it's a country that also has white-skinned people in there, but the people that they choose to attack are their fellow black Africans. And it makes no sense to me. There has to be a serious mindset change or re-engineering or whatever it is, because we can't continue accepting this sort of behavior from South Africans. We have them in many other African countries, and I've never heard South Africans in other African countries coming out to say that they've been treated, you know, cruelly the way that South Africans are behaving. They have to do something, or else I feel that other African nations are going to just separate themselves from South Africa, and then let them deal with their country on their own as a singular entity, and let them see how that will work out for them.
So South Africa, they don't see themselves as part of Africa. That's what I think. They don't see themselves.
They're heavenly.
Because, So, but I saw that video. The first thing that came to my mind, there was that video that you're talking about, because the guy came into the clinic and he was like, if you're not South African, stand up and leave. Stand up and leave. And there was a lady there. She was pregnant and she was limping. And he went there and he asked her, are you South African? She said no. He said, stand up. And she got up. You know, somebody brought her to the hospital. They held her and they were carrying her out. And I was like, this guy, is he seeing the pain this woman is going through? And he, you know, they didn't care because he was there with 2 other ladies. They were all there and then, you know, telling them to leave, everything. And they had to leave. This South Africa and Nigeria issue has been going on for a very long time. Where this thing is coming from, I have no idea. But, you know, I'm wondering how Africa is going to move forward without that unity. And if you're saying that it's from poverty and other African countries are going through same thing. Yeah. We're all going through poverty. We're all going through whatever it is that they are going through. But we are not behaving like that to people. You can't come to Nigeria and then we'll treat you like that. We don't treat people who are not. In fact, the way we are so welcome, we welcome you.
Black and white is the same.
I'm telling you.
We even worship the white.
I'm telling you. So, but when you go to every time South Africa has one issue or the other with Nigerians.
Let me add something. They also said that this particular group, the Dudula operations, are threatening that by next year they will stop foreigners, including Nigerians, from attending public schools. Okay, so it's starting from the hospitals. It's trickling down to other aspects of their. Okay.
Yeah. So it's time for all the African leaders to come together.
Yeah.
So and make stringent policies that will favor Africans, because now look at all the Western countries. They are doing very well. They are moving forward together collectively. If we don't do that now, I don't know when we are going to, instead of every time fighting.
Okay.
So I understand the issue of xenophobia, and you know, and I'm totally against it and everything that comes with it. But then let's also look within. We in Nigeria, we've sat on this table and we're still having that same issue, and that same issue has not been solved till tomorrow. Where even a pregnant woman will go to a hospital in Nigeria that is about to give birth, they will say if you've not deposited a certain amount of money, nobody will attend to you. It is still the reality. And then we still sit down on this table, right? And this is the same Nigeria to Nigerians, where hospitals don't attend to you if you don't make a deposit. That is because it's a business. Even if you want to look at it from the business perspective and from the human angle, within our own country, is happening as I speak right now, is happening in different hospitals. That's the Nigerians to Nigerians. So let's be factual, let's be realistic about certain things. If you go to a country and you're pregnant, you have 9 months to plan for your pregnancy, and you can see what's going on in that country against undocumented migrants. To figure out how to, as what will happen when you get to that point, whether it's to save for insurance, whether there's a community of midwifery that can help. You have to take care of yourself. As you can see that the government of South Africa is not going to help you. So what next? You can't keep having the same issue over and over again and expect a different result. No.
So Amaka, I've always been of the view that for you to relocate, you must make your plans properly. I don't believe that people should just up and go without, you know, making sure that everything has been sorted, so you don't go to another man's country and become a burden, right? And we have also said that when you travel and you're relocating, the first thing you do is to find a Nigerian embassy and register. We're not shouting that enough here, which I think the government even here needs to take up, you know, advocacy of once you get into a country you're relocating, please find a Nigerian embassy. Go to a website where you see their addresses of Nigerian embassies in different countries and register so that they know that you're present. Then make sure that your documentation is complete. The ones that have not completed, the embassy, with the help of the embassy, they can sort it and ratify it for you. So that when issues like this come up, we have a legal standing to say you cannot treat our citizens like this because this person did not come through the back door, right? But many a times what we see is many Nigerians travel for whatever reason and they're not able to get their proper papers, and it gives room for such behaviors of those countries that they found themselves. It's not an excuse for bad behavior. It's not an excuse that you allow a pregnant woman to deliver on the floor. That's wickedness of the highest order. But aside from, you know, the pregnancy thing, when they are dealing with undocumented people, and they are saying that they have scarce resources to even attend to their own people, we should also understand where they are coming from, that they need to find ways to make sure that their own treatment is made for their own persons. Remember, there was a time in the UK where they were shouting that immigrants are taking up their hospital spaces. Aside from their jobs, they are using up their taxpayers' money to treat them, and they are saying we can no longer do that. But how can we save ourselves this sort of embarrassment when we are planning to travel? What do you think our government can do for us in terms of maybe diplomacy to see how this matter in South Africa can be resolved before it gets out of hand?
So looking at this, many things can exist, you know, and concurrently. We have Nigerians who travel and they are properly documented and they do what they need to do. We have people all over the world who go into other countries undocumented. Every time we take stories of Nigerians trying to find their way to Europe through Libya, and we know the stories. So we know that there are some people who get to places undocumented and they try and live below the radar so they don't get caught until issues like having to go to the hospital, or education, or whatever comes up. Now, that's a fact. But another fact is treating people the way
they should be.
That South Africa is always in the news for. That xenophobic behavior. And you know, one thing with whether you're documented or not documented, with xenophobia does not care. It just says this group of people are a problem, and so whether you're documented or undocumented, you'll be treated badly. So it's not a proper government policy, because in countries where they have proper government policies on undocumented residents or citizens in their country, they pack them and they deport them. America is deporting people because you're undocumented. It will send ICE to your doorstep, and they will look. You too yourself, you know you're undocumented. But also when you find yourself in situations of emergency, you're treated well. You're treated as a human being. Forget well. You know, this is a human being. And then after, we'll deal with you. And that is all we're asking of South Africa. It is too... South Africa cannot even hide from this. There's no excuse. Yes, resources are stressed. We hear you, but we also know that just naturally, this is how you have always responded to other Africans. You have blamed other Africans for all the issues that you have in your country. Your leaders have said our leaders in government are not doing what they are meant to do. There's a scarcity of employment in our country because our government is not doing the right thing. But the people turn around and look for the scapegoat. That's what this xenophobia is. You're looking for the scapegoat. There are different ways to address the issues that's affecting South Africa. Address it that way. And our government is wherever Nigerians are, protect them. Whether they are documented or undocumented. We see Abike Jabri all the time. These people who are trying to find their ways, when they get in trouble, they still shout and scream. And we show up. And then people are going to respect us wherever we find ourselves. That's why in Americans, they know wherever they go, if they cry like this, America will send all sorts of whatever to protect them. It's a show of strength. You know, you don't treat our citizens anyhow. Then when you come home, we'll not deal with you. Look at recently, some group of Chinese nationals were arrested for all sorts of behavior. They said they should just send them back to the country. If it was the other way around, they just send them back for drug offenses. We just arrested them and we're meant to just send them back.
Have we sent them back?
That was the plan. So I don't know. But if it happened to Nigerians anywhere else,
who will send who back?
Do you understand? So we need to be able to protect our people wherever.
Your final thoughts.
Can I add something? So what I wanted to add is that, you know, necessarily this is for people who are living in South Africa. What if I travel to South Africa for just 2 weeks and I fall ill? Is this how they are going to treat me? Do you understand? Do you mean after saying I should look for insurance and everything? I'm not expecting to fall ill within that 2 weeks. And maybe I travel there and I accidentally fall ill. Is this how they are going to treat me? Please, they need to do better. So and this envy between Nigerians and South Africa needs to stop.
So let me answer you. And like you said, what can the government do? Is that before you travel to any country, before you go on holiday anywhere, your mindset, as you're planning your ticket and everything, you also plan for exigencies. Let's be factual. You have to plan for, nobody knows. You can have food poisoning. You're going somewhere you don't, anything can happen. And that's why you find out that most visa requirements include insurance. Even if it's a 3 months insurance, or they'll tell you to buy insurance for the time frame, that 1 month that you're going to be there. You cannot, because it's irresponsible on your part that you're going somewhere and you're not considering if something happens. You leave yourself to chance. It's as in, and then you're not. I'm coming. And then when something now happens, you're not. When something now happens, you're not telling stories before you not get compensation on what everything don't spoil. The responsibility is on you to ensure that when you're leaving your country, you're going to a foreign land, that you protect yourself for exigency. Anything can happen.
Amaka, I get you properly, but you know what we're talking about is how South Africans actually treat other. No, I get it. Yes, actually treat other people, and we're calling on our government. The government needs to whether deploy the diplomacy or have conversations. Let's actually find out what's going on. South African government has distanced themselves from this Dudula operation. They are calling them criminals, and they are promising they are going to be a crackdown. But we need to follow up to see how this happens, and then a mindset change for South Africans. The first time I passed there was not a pleasant experience. Being a Nigerian, passing that place, not a pleasant experience. They have this bad reputation already on how they treat fellow Africans. That has got to change. Thank you so much, ladies, for a wonderful Monday. We started the week on high notes, and we're going to be back again tomorrow. That's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye now.